I'm quite excited about this. I've got some really big news about the Y series, and it's so big, not only is it going to change my life, but I genuinely think it may change yours too. And I'm sorry for the build-up, and I'm sorry for the teasing, but you know, with things like this, you can't just blurt them out because it would take you too much by surprise. You'd be like, what? So can we do everything? I mean, can we get some lights going? Can we get a drum roll, please? I'm ready. Right, awesome. It is my privilege. It is my pleasure. It is my honor to tell you there's absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I was just talking a bunch of hogwash. It's annoying, isn't it? You get your hopes up and then they're dashed. So WWE, stop trolling the fans. Why? Here's why. Now, I am all for a tease or a surprise, that's different. To build something and have people on tenterhooks before paying it off is one of the most satisfying things that you can experience as a human being. You find out what you've been waiting for and then bam, we go from there. It's the same with video games and movies or music or a book or whatever you like. You count down the days until it comes, and sometimes that can actually be better than the event itself. Like I say, brains are just crazy, they latch onto things and you just take it as it comes. What doesn't work is when you push that to the nth degree and don't even leave the slightest hint of what was meant to happen. And yes, if you're not aware, I am of course talking about everything that Daniel Bryan and WWE did on this week's episode of SmackDown. 2 days after he shouted that he had a career-altering announcement that was going to change the very foundations of WWE, we got that show and we left not knowing anything. There was nothing. I would have been better off spending my time taking my hand and just ramming it into a bit of concrete, because then I would have had cuts all over my hand and I could have shown people real evidence. Look what happened when I did something, as opposed to this where I got nothing. And I'll tell you this, I'll be honest, I was really upset. I was a little bit devastated. I know that makes me a big nerd and a big geek, and you go, wrestling, man, you understand what you're talking about. But I was excited about this, and I bought in. I thought we were going to get to the end of WWE's Tuesday night program and think, oh wow, that is huge. Now I can't wait to see what's going to happen next week. It would have been fine if there was something for me to grab hold of, but I don't believe there was at all. I understand the counter-argument. The counter-argument is, yes, Simon, but now that you don't know, you definitely want to tune in next week. Otherwise, you'll never find out. But that's not true. If I wasn't Mr. Ups and Downs, what I would do instead is I wouldn't watch SmackDown and I'd wait for all the results to be on the internet and maybe a clip on YouTube, and I'd just watch it that way instead, because then I couldn't be disappointed again. And that is exactly what WWE doesn't want right now. They need ratings. Outside of that though, WWE is also not in a position where they can abuse the fans' faith in that way. And what I mean by that is look at everything else that happened on that show or has happened in other shows around this fact. Last week we were also told that on this week's SmackDown, Ember Moon was going to have a mystery tag team partner. I was like, oh, maybe we're going to get Scooby-Doo on the case. He's really good at solving mysteries. And it was Bayley. And that is not Bayley's fault, she's just doing her job. But when I do see her every single week on my TV, it's never gonna get a reaction like, oh my gosh, because it's Bayley. I saw Bayley on Raw, I saw Bayley on SmackDown, I saw Bayley in interviews. We all know who Bayley is. Bayley is just intrinsic to the WWE landscape right now. This was the same when we were also told that Roman Reigns was gonna have a mystery partner. It was Gary the janitor. I know that Gary the janitor turned out to be Cedric Alexander, but once again, it builds up over time. So now every time WWE tells me, oh, so-and-so's gonna have a mystery partner, I think, well, it's gonna be someone akin to Bayley, or it's gonna be akin to someone like Gary the janitor. These things don't excite me very much, and therefore, again, boy who cried wolf. How many times when I talk about boy who cried wolf, I start believing that the word mystery or secret or surprise actually means jack shib. You can even turn the clock back way back in the day and remember that a lot of payoffs WWE did do, they just went, put Hornswoggle in that position. And that was different back then because WWE was in a different position, but they're not now because nobody is gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. It's up to them to change our minds. So for example, looking at Daniel Bryan, if he had come out and given us this huge news, then next time they tease something like this, you could use the Daniel Bryan announcement to go, oh, well, they did do it then. Maybe they'll do it again now. We've gone the other way here, and it's always just nope, 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 nope. And when you do that, that will be awesome. It will be a step in the right direction. But just to throw more shade on this, the execution was also rubbish. Because Bryan was told to walk out, pretend he was going to talk, then go backstage, then come out again, pretend he was going to talk, and then go backstage, I was left with this overwhelming sensation that WWE didn't even have a concept for this. So I was like, well, look, just go out there, do a little thing, then come back, and then it gives us another week to try and figure something out. And I'm not saying that is true, but it felt that way, and it also gives me the heebie-jeebies that WWE is literally booking things day to day. So it wasn't like, okay, we'll get to Extreme Rules and then we'll separate Daniel Bryan outside of the tag team division. He'll make this huge announcement and that leads into a feud with whoever at SummerSlam. It was just on Sunday at the pay-per-view someone went, hey Daniel, you're a big character, everyone likes you, we're going to try and come up with something, we don't know what, just go cut a promo over there and then we'll figure it all out. That is not the way to make things go this way, and this way is where WWE needs to go, upwards, increasing. So just to draw a line under this, if you did feel trolled after the happenings on Tuesday this week, I feel for you, you have my sympathies. And I understand a man standing here in a very cheap waistcoat and a stupid hat doesn't mean much, but it's all I can do right now. There you go, that was nice, wasn't it? It also doesn't make any sense, much like the fact that I'm not wearing a hat anymore. What is that all about? But there is a small chance, or maybe even a bigger chance, that a few Laps fans heard about Daniel Bryan and his big announcement and decided to tune in. They decided to watch SmackDown. And there is proof to this because this week SmackDown ratings were up 14% from last week. And that isn't all going to be Daniel Bryan, but you have to think it ties in a little bit. And if that is the case, don't then run these people off again by giving them nothing. Just give them anything, a tease, a bone. Give them a bone like a dog. Don't negate the surprise and run it into the ground. I mean, it's not as bad as what we were doing 20 years ago. Here I stand in 2019, and I still within the land of kayfabe, don't know what GTV was all about or who was behind that, and I don't know who raised the briefcase at King of the Ring 1999. But with a pathway to the second biggest pay-per-view of the year and all the rumors that Eric Bischoff was now in charge of his position and how good the Daniel Bryan promo was post Extreme Rules, and it was damn good, I just felt we needed a payoff. Something, anything, and to entice these people to come back and watch and go, look, we're not mucking around with you anymore. This is a good time to get back involved with our product because we got big plans. Just feel like the ball was dropped and it was dropped hard. Bryan had nothing, then there was Bayley. I mean, what kind of conversation are you going to have about that? Before people go off in the comments, I am not talking about swerves. Screw swerves. Swerves are the last thing that we need. But again, if you look at Raw, we had the Bray Wyatt moment, and that did get people chatting, and it got a lot of people wanting to see it. And I feel like SmackDown needed something similar, but it really didn't. In fact, it ended with a Dolph Ziggler versus Kevin Owens match. And let's not pretend that WWE doesn't troll us all the time. You could even tie it into the end of December 2018 when all the McMahons did come out and say, you're the authority, you're the authority. Because we're not the authority, we have no power whatsoever, nor did the product change at all. And it's still going on now. I love everything with Kevin Owens, and I love his new Stone Cold Steve Austin persona, but it's not lost on me, the paradox, the irony, whatever the right word would be, that he is saying that Shane McMahon is taking up too much TV time, but by putting him in that feud, it means Shane O'Mac takes up more time on our TV. And that is WWE behind the scenes actively acknowledging they know there's an issue or there's something the audience doesn't like, but they're just doubling down on it as aside from fixing the problem. That is a troll. It's also like some weird meta storyline you could only get in professional wrestling. This is why it's so brilliant, and this is why it's so crazy. We know too much. That's the problem. It's like someone that's working at Area 51. Small PSA, do not rush Area 51. I've seen that Facebook story. It's a bad idea, but it's like Area 51. We know too much. Either way, let's treat the audience with just a little bit of respect and give them some grapes every once in a while. I know this video could be out of date in a week when WWE does reveal a huge announcement about Daniel Bryan, but that doesn't change my opinion that we should have done this the other way around. Right now, I should be doing a wide video about how great it was and trying to predict the fallout on next week's show, not second guess and just hope that's what we get. We should have jumped in with both feet, especially again because that promo was so good. And if you're wondering why I've mentioned it 3 times, go and watch it, then you'll understand. Also, do you remember when people said that Bryan Danielson was only good in the ring and he couldn't do anything else in pro wrestling? Those people are proper crazy. Daniel Bryan is probably, along with AJ Styles, someone who also got that, one of the most well-rounded performers in all of WWE and someone who everybody respects. Even my dad respects Daniel Bryan, and my dad thinks wrestling is a pile of crap. Genuinely, when he heard I was going to be a wrestler, he looked at me like this. But even he respects Daniel Bryan. Something I've said there isn't true. I've made something up there, but I'll let you figure out which bit it is. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you think about Daniel Bryan, Extreme Rules, SummerSlams, and big announcements and trolling. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com, read yourself some articles. Follow What Culture on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE, and watch more videos here. on What Culture Wrestling. My name is Simon Miller, and if you are keeping track, if you have a little notepad, you write things in, yes, this is the second time this week I have dressed up like an absolute jackass. Although really, if you break it down, it's like a cosplay for Chris Jericho when he was in the Festival of Friendship, and it wasn't intended to be that. Well, I'm sure it was a little bit. That was my inspiration. But here I am in my crappy little waistcoat and my crappy little hat. But I'm pleased with it. I'm happy with it. And also, when I came up with the idea at the start of the video to do like a big surprise celebration, I was like, I've already got the hat. I've already got it. Obviously, I wore this to celebrate 400 episodes of Ups and Downs. Now it debuts in the Y series. WWE, stop trolling me, please. I don't like it and it makes me sad. And if you do keep trolling me, I'll troll you back. I mean, we can't do that here anyway. But don't get into a trolling war. I don't believe you can win. Give me a big Daniel Bryan announcement on Tuesday. Make amends. Build to SummerSlam. Give me things to be excited about. Because really, that's all wrestling fans want. If we're excited, we'll watch the TV show. That actually is more important than continuity. If somehow you make me excited week in, week out, even if it's shallow, I'll be there. Do it. Bye.